of the Crown Heights crisis. At the time, tensions were high between blacks and Jews in Brooklyn. A brutal attack on Orthodox Jews sparked a full-blown riot.
Really?
2 days later, after holding up in the Vatican Embassy in Panama City for 10 days...
a riot already in the start of 99. We get riots between Jews and black people? What? Alright guys, your favorite Gen Z Brit born in 2000 is going to be checking out a timeline of 1990, everything that happened in the year 1990. This was going to be really interesting. I'm not too familiar with that decade in general. I've checked most of the stuff that I've checked out so far has been quite a bit on the 80s, a little bit in the 70s and 60s and 50s, and 1990s not so much as of right now. So this deep dive is going to be really fun and interesting to see what basically happened in this year. Speaking of which, guys, I'm doing some bonus content on the Patreon for those of you guys that aren't aware, posting new movie reactions, album reviews, and sitcom reviews every week. I've got at the moment around 50 plus exclusive bits of content on there at the moment. So if you guys are interested in getting that extra dose of nostalgia as well as Gen Z perspective on a lot of these classics that I'm showing you guys on the screen, and I'll definitely recommend checking out the Patreon, linked in the description below. Of course, it'll be great to support the channel, guys, if you love my content. Of course, guys, if you love this kind of content and you want to see more from me, then definitely don't forget to smash the like button. I don't know what I'm talking about. Smash the like button so I know you guys want to see more, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new so you don't miss another one of these bangers from me. But yeah, guys, with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Let's go.
Come on, Uncle Phil, this is the 90s, man.
Man, it's the 90s. It's hammer time.
This is the 90s, the 1990s in point of fact.
Does your girlfriend have a girlfriend?
Hey, it's the 90s.
The 1990s. This decade would be all that and a bag of chips.
Hey, we're not talking brain cells here. We're talking taste buds.
Where the planet would see the rise of the World Wide Web.
Plane tickets are ordered. Now, let's look up dinosaurs.
Civil unrest in the States, and a hairstyle called the Rachel dominate the landscape. Today, we're going to give you the 411 about the news, culture, sports, and entertainment, and all that was weird in the 90s.
Don't touch that dial.
All right, man. I wasn't born yet. Let's see what this is about. I wonder if I'm going to notice anything.
Because we're starting at the beginning with the year 1990. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below what your
links to the original
90s
video, guys, will
expression
be in the
was.
description.
Okay, baby?
You want to check it out?
Let's go back.
I don't know about you guys, but
Rodney
I'm dying for a Pepsi.
Coming out of the 80s, the world was changing. Communism was crumbling. The Cold War was thawing, and materialism had taken root in our culture. Moving into the 90s, how would this decade be defined? In the year ahead, we would see one of the biggest upsets in sports history, a whale of a good time, and a stage being set for war.
5 months ago, Saddam Hussein started this cruel war against Kuwait. Tonight, the battle has been joined.
This is 1990.
Aren't you going to say hello?
The year started off great for
1990.
David N. Dinkins, who became the first black mayor of New York City, who was sworn in on January 1st. Dinkins' tenure, however, was marred with unparalleled levels of crime and a massive budget deficit. Most commonly, he's remembered for failing to respond to the race riot in August of 1991, now dubbed the Crown Heights crisis. At the time, tensions were high between blacks and Jews in Brooklyn. A brutal attack on Orthodox Jews sparked a full-blown riot. 2 days later, after holding up in the Vatican Embassy in Panama City for 10 days...
a riot already in the start of 99. We get a riot, first black mayor of New York, and then now we got the riots between Jews and black people. What is that? That is a mad brief description that this guy just did just now. You guys let me know a little bit more in the comments below what that was all about. But that's crazy though. Why are they rioting though? Why is there riots? I already know about all that Jim Crow stuff around the up until the 60s around there. But 1990s, we're still getting racial stuff. This is whole riots. This must have been a mad sitch.
2 days later, after holding up in the Vatican Embassy in Panama City for 10 days, dictator Manuel Noriega surrendered to the United States. American forces surrounded the location, blasted music, and flew helicopters overhead. Eventually, the U.S. and the Vatican reached an agreement, and Noriega surrendered. Coming back to the States, we go to Washington, D.C., where Mayor Marion Barry was arrested during an FBI sting operation and caught smoking the crack on January 18th. In a surprising twist, after serving his 6-month sentence, Barry was re-elected mayor, serving from 1995 to 99.
Damn mayor on crack.
In late January, we head to the New Orleans Superdome, where during Super Bowl 24, the San Francisco 49ers demolished Mule-Mouth John Elway and the Denver Broncos 55-10.
Mate, I've got no clue what's going on.
Won his third Super Bowl MVP. 3 days later,
I've never watched American football, by the way. For those guys that can't tell already, I'm from the UK. I play football, not American football, and I'm involved in that. But this looks interesting. I've never watched the Super Bowl either, so I don't really know about what this is all about. But it looks interesting. I don't know about these teams at all. So
the New Orleans Superdome,
49ers,
where during Super Bowl 24, the San Francisco 49ers demolished Mule-Mouth John Elway.
Why are they called 49ers though?
55-10. Quarterback Joe Montana won his third Super Bowl MVP. 3 days later, the Soviet Union saw its first McDonald's restaurant open in Moscow. Those golden arches attracted long lines of hungry Russians, who waited as long as 6 hours for 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, on a sesame seed bun.
Them Russians must have been starving,
I think
man.
the reaction from the Soviets is going to be exceptional. I think they're going to just say, thank you, thanks, McDonald's.
They must have been craving that
McDonald's. One journalist noted the level of Russian enthusiasm was the expression of America's rationalism and pragmatism toward food. That's one way of looking at it.
McDonald's, food, folks, and fun.
On February 11th, the leader of the movement to end South African apartheid, Nelson Mandela, was released from prison after spending 27 years incarcerated.
He was in there for 27 years.
Just realizing that he's going to be out.
I feel free today. It's going to change the country a lot.
Mandela had been sent to prison on trumped-up charges of treason and sabotage. Flash forward 4 years, where on May 10th, Mandela would be elected as president of South Africa and serve until 1999.
I didn't even know this happened. I'll be so honest.
That divides us.
I wasn't even born.
Back to 1990,
Shout out to Nelson Mandela,
and we go to the Tokyo Dome in Japan, where on the same day as Mandela's release, the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, was defeated. Iron Mike was knocked down and out by the 42-1 underdog Buster Douglas in the 10th round of the bout. The next day on February 12th,
that looks like a big upset. Like what I know of Mike Tyson now, he seems way different to like when he was like really boxing in the 1990s. Last time I saw him really was when he was boxing. Who did he box? Like Jake Paul or something? Which kind of just I'm pretty sure it was Jake Paul. If I'm getting it wrong, then let me know. But that just goes to show you just like my kind of view of Mike Tyson. I didn't really know much of him in his boxing days.
Buster Douglas in the 10th round
I wasn't even
of
born.
the bout. The next day on February 12th, rapper, dancer, and iconic Genie Pants wearer MC Hammer released his album, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. The album stayed on the Billboard 200 for 21 weeks straight and propelled MC into superstardom thanks to his juggernaut single, You Can't Touch This.
Yeah, that's
Hammer
a banger.
became so popular that a year and a half later, he got his very own cartoon, Hammerman, which debuted on September 7th, 1991. Your very own cartoon. Now that's making it.
It's hammer time.
And can I just say, 1990s when I started to notice from all these videos I've been doing, like checking out music from back in the day, 1990s definitely seems like it was a time for a lot of black artists on the scene, man. Because I just see an array of black artists just popping in the 90s, though.
Your very own cartoon.
Like you don't see as much in like the 60s,
Back
70s.
to 1990, we go to
here
the
and
courts,
then the 80s.
where on February 27th, the case of Washington versus Harper saw an inmate in Washington State sue the prison system for involuntary medication, specifically around the inmate's antipsychotic medication.
That's serious.
The court found that Harper was a danger to either himself or his fellow inmates, and the prison was well within its rights to administer antipsychotic medicine against the will of the individual involved.
They're allowed to do that. What is that?
Now they're taking Burger King by storm.
I don't know what that was just
You can
then.
get one of your favorite heroes on a half shell every time you buy a Kids Club meal. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle badges.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
For a limited
Turtles.
time. Only at Burger King.
We just play some adverts right now, okay?
Sir,
Interesting ad break.
sabotaged. I'm telling you, he wants to defect.
Let's shake the man loose.
Right full rudder. Cancel on Crazy Island.
Sean Connery, Alec Baldwin, The Hunt for Red October.
This is no April Fool's joke, but after a 9-year stagnation, the federal minimum wage was increased on April 1st, going from $3.35 to a whopping $3.80.
From what Mindy is holding.
Wow, that's kind of low from what I'm used to.
Fans of Twin Peaks.
Minimum wage, $3. Wow. Inflation.
Hello. I was wondering if I might trouble you for a cup of strong black coffee.
They got a cherry pie there. That'll kill
I don't even know what these little ad breaks
rights
are.
activists
You guys probably know
when they
that.
successfully convinced
Right,
Can.
let me let that plot talk to
Strong black coffee.
They got a cherry pie.
Let me know if you guys know about that.
That'll
Whatever
kill
this stuff is on the screen.
On April 10th, animal rights activists had a win when they successfully convinced canned tuna brands not to buy fish caught from companies that use nets which harm dolphins. The turning point was when Heinz, who was the globe's foremost tuna supplier, decided to stop buying any tuna caught using purse fishing net methods.
Just about everything you see in here is a potential hazard.
Solid stuff. They live in color day beat.
Let's just say you're
What's
changing
this?
the water in this here.
Like a comedy show?
And you accidentally fill it with gasoline, like so. The janitor comes in. There's a power outage.
It looks interesting.
He lights himself a match.
Is this like
and-
SNL?
Oh. He's cooking fish sticks.
In late April, the Hubble
Crazy.
telescope was launched into space aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery. After its launch, it was discovered that the telescope's primary mirror had an aberration that affected its ability to produce clear and accurate images,
That's not
making
good.
the poor Hubble a late-night talk show punchline.
Have you heard about the problems with the Hubble Space Telescope? They call the NASA official
Johnny
repairman
Carson.
to fix it. And he said he'll be up there sometime in the 21st century between noon and 5.
Since being fixed, the Hubble has helped revolutionize astronomy, giving in-depth looks at distant stars, planets, and galaxies,
Right.
and giving scientists a better understanding of black holes.
Hey,
Some sad
technology,
news as
man.
we head into mid-May, the man behind the Muppets, Jim Henson, died at the age of 53.
Oh,
He's
rest in
taught
peace.
me so much just by being the person who he is.
Henson single-handedly ushered in a new golden age of puppets, creating many of his iconic characters.
I didn't really
Sam
watch the
and
Muppet
Friends
Show
in
myself.
1955, which would then later
I don't
be
really know much
reborn as
about.
The Muppet Show, almost 20 years
Yes.
later. Besides being the hand behind Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, Henson also helped create puppets
Oh, that's-
for The Dark Crystal, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Really?
Farscape, and Labyrinth.
That
On the
is
same
sad,
day,
though.
beloved Rat Pack member
I know about Sammy Davis Jr.
passed away.
I reacted
the
to him.
actor, singer, and comedian
Wow.
died while heavily in debt to the IRS. His
Ooh.
estate was divided up and had various legal battles surrounding it, even after the death of his wife, who passed in 2009.
Oh,
the little-known
that
fact about
sounds-
Sammy was that towards the back half of his
He's in
life,
debt.
he converted from Judaism to Satanism.
Ah.
The Mr. Bojangles crooner hosted many interesting parties, satanic rituals, and pagan
Oh.
sacrifices. Sticking with the music,
That downfall is kind of that kind of sounds mad. I know all I know of Sammy Davis Jr. I checked him out, guys. I'm telling you, the rabbit hole's deeper. How I've got into these places, don't even ask me how. Like, my knowledge of certain things is just so sporadic. I know about some things and a lot of things I don't. But I know I've seen him in like a the cast. No, what was it? It was the yes. I see him in like a little skit in like the Carl Burnett show. Like, I'm sure that's like a 1970s show that seems like was decently popular from what I'm aware. You guys let me know. But I saw him in that, and I've seen some of his songs like way back when I used to do music reacts, where they started to really copyright the heck out of those videos, and I can't be asked and block them. So yeah, Sammy Davis Jr. seemed like a very talented individual that I checked out from the past. I'm from one way he can also like tap dance. I saw him as on a little segment where he was tap dancing, but so I like him. He seemed like a very talented individual. But to hear this kind of like he got into Satanism, that's kind of tainting the overall view I had of him. But other than that, like, yeah, he seemed like an iconic individual.
parties, satanic rituals, and pagan sacrifices. Sticking with
That's-
the music,
wow, okay.
Madonna's Vogue
Rest
topped
in peace,
the charts
though.
by reaching #1 on the U.S. Hot 100 on May 19th and stayed there for 3 consecutive weeks. The
Wow,
music
Madonna
video for
killing
Vogue
it.
was directed by a then-budding David Fincher, who we may hear from later on in the decade.
What's in 1995? What's in 1995?
In late May,
Shout out to
Colombian
Madonna, man.
elections were
I know
marred
she was
by
killing it in
violent
the
protests
80s.
and riots after Cesar
Especially.
Gaviria won the presidency. Luis Carlos Galan, the Colombian presidential candidate, had been shot and killed while campaigning south of Bogota. He was so far ahead in the polls for the
Assassination.
presidential elections that he was virtually assured of victory. His campaign manager, Cesar Gaviria, ran in his place after the attack and was elected president.
Wow.
Immediately after Galan's assassination, the president at the time, Virgilio Barco, retaliated by reinstating extraditions.
Wow, talk about if you can't beat them, just assassinate them by the looks of it. Wow, that's tough. What's this all about?
Catch.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
For a surprise.
A notable first, the Thanatron,
Wonder where
the
that's
machine
from.
Jack Kevorkian used for assisted suicides, was used for the first time on June 4th. Janet Adkins of Portland,
Assisted.
Oregon, became the first person to use the Thanatron.
Her decision that had been made some time ago, the boys were all familiar with it, and we all knew what she wanted to do.
Kevorkian and the Thanatron would
that's
eventually
so
be
sad.
enlisted by 129 other people to end their own lives.
They let
6
that
days
happen.
later, federal district
wait,
judge...
that was a thing. There was so you can like intentionally get your assisted. Try and be careful. That's what. Surely that's not a thing now, though, isn't it? Like, surely that's only a thing that's used on like death row. You telling me you can just? I don't know, man. That's interesting. Wow. Okay.
What she wanted to do.
Kevorkian and the
That's
Thanatron
really
would
sad.
eventually be enlisted by 129 other people
That's
to
really,
end their
really
own
sad.
lives. 6 days later, federal district
God forbid
judge
anyone
Jose
does that, man.
Gonzalez
That sounds
ruled
really-
that Two Live Crew's album, As
Sorry,
Nasty
man.
As They Wanna Be, was obscene, and
That
the
is
album
a
was ruled
whoa.
illegal.
That is a mad cover, though.
As Nasty As They Wanna Be was obscene, and
That
the
is
album
mad.
was ruled illegal to perform in multiple Florida counties. With hits like Me So Horny and Dirty Nursery Rhymes, the group quickly gained nationwide recognition for their profanity and explicit lyrics. Crew's Fresh Kid Ice and Amazing V were arrested by the police during a performance at, of all places, a local Florida strip club after the ruling. The
How
case
have I
was
never-
taken
I've
to
never heard
trial
of this.
where the crew would eventually be acquitted. Two Live Crew walked so Megan Thee Stallion could run. Sticking with the justice system.
That's a wild joke there. Okay. Wow. Sorry, Fresh Kid Ice. Is this the name? This rapper, this crew, they were even mad. Hey, if you guys know about them, man, those guys, let me know, because that's the first time I've heard about this. They were moving mad. I know what it is about all this liberation going on in the 90s, especially in the music. I've heard some songs that were moving mad around this time. I think some of you guys are saying this time the talk about, explicit subjects was more of a thing. But yeah, that's interesting. That's crazy. They went to court for that as well. That's mad. That's mad. Talk about partying too hard, man. Oh. Sorry, guys. My thing's bugging.
And seizure.
Daddy, I can do it.
Hold up.
Be equipped a strip club after the ruling. The case was taken to trial where the crew would eventually be acquitted. Two Live Crew walked so Megan Thee Stallion could run. Sticking with the justice system, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld by a 6-3 vote police DUI checkpoints on June 14th. In the decision, written by Chief Justice William Rehnquist, the court rejected assertions that DUI checkpoints violated the Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable search and seizure.
Okay. What are these? These are some interesting little ad breaks. Never seen this before, though. Talking dogs.
We now go
Great
to
advert.
the Middle East, where on June 21st, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake devastated Iran.
Wild.
An estimated 50,000 Iranians perished, and over 400,000 people were left homeless from the quake, which
50
spanned from 7.3 to 7.7 on the Richter scale.
Oh, that's tragic.
Heading into July,
That's really
we go
tragic.
to Italy. Buongiorno. Where West Germany, yes, West Germany was still around at the time, won the FIFA
All
World
right.
Cup, defeating Argentina 1-0. This was the third World Cup title for West Germany.
You ain't got a body
Shout out
no
to
more,
Germany,
son.
man.
It's all up here now. You want to move something, you got to move it with your mind.
Okay.
I did it. Way to go.
The month of August would start off a touch fresher, with the city of San Luis Obispo, California, adopting the first legislation to ban smoking in bars. Tobacco giant
right.
R.J.
That's
Reynolds
the first one.
fumigated local residents with pamphlets urging them to call their council members, but to no avail. By July of 2018, nearly every state adopted similar laws, with only 12 states. Alabama, Arkansas,
Right.
Georgia,
So the ideas
Kentucky,
on
Mississippi,
smoking started to
Oklahoma, South
change.
Carolina, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia,
It's actually
and
being banned
Wyoming,
now.
who still live in flavor country. 6
Right.
days later, after invading Kuwait,
from when I came
the
on this planet, smoking was just banned in most places. So it's like every time I go back in time and just see like this, I'm seeing, okay, this is 99 is where you start to really see the decline, actual legislation being put in place as to the, to ban it and stuff. Okay,
still
that's
live
interesting.
in flavor country.
I can imagine a lot of people weren't
6
liking
days
that
later,
one.
after invading
Or maybe they
Kuwait,
were.
the Iraqi government proclaimed that they had annexed the country. In a statement issued from Saddam Hussein's ruling council, they insisted their lack of fear from American military forces, despite the annexation, proclaiming, "All the fleets and squadrons of aircraft will not shake a single palm frond in Iraq." We'll see how well that statement holds going into 1991.
Clear!
Bro, all this happened in 1 year, man.
Got him. Come on, Nelson. Pick up the beat.
Easy, easy, easy.
Nelson, pick up the beat. Pick up the beat. Pick up the beat.
Fresh Prince, I know about this one. I love this sitcom or show, whatever you call it. Oh, you got Bill Cosby on that. I actually love the Fresh Prince.
What
I
happened
need
to
to
your
check that
Whitney
out.
Houston cutout? He fell apart in the shower.
On September 14th, Seattle Mariners Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. made history by becoming the first father-son duo to hit back-to-back home runs against the California Angels.
That's it.
And he hits one well to left center field. Back-to-back.
That's actually sick. I don't watch baseball though, but that's it. Goodfellas released.
You better pull over and see.
I've never seen this movie either.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Right.
In late September, East and West Germany overwhelmingly voted in favor of reuniting the two countries, which had been separated since Germany's unconditional surrender in 1945. The measure passed with a vote of 442 in favor and 47 against.
I've only known Germany as one country.
I can explain that, all right?
So,
hey,
yeah.
I lent you my girlfriend. You made a move on her.
You made a move on Kim?
Nothing happened. Then you send your little sex freak over to my house trying to look for some kind of handout. It's temporary insanity, all right? I wasn't thinking with my head. You weren't thinking at all.
Hold on a second.
Let's back up to the part about the sex freak.
Humphrey the Humpback Whale may not be as popular as Free Willy, but on October 24th, he became a celebrity in his own right.
I saw his tail come up out of the water. It was right past the Golden Gate Bridge.
During his long seasonal migration from Mexico to Alaska, Humphrey decided to take a pit stop in the San Francisco Bay. Humphrey stayed for 3 days and then was lured back on his way by the marine mammal singer, who played the smooth, jazzy sounds of other humpback whales.
That's insane. Fair play. That whale got lost. That was actually kind of cool.
Red Lobster.
Tonight, 30 shrimp, just $8.95.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
And kids get shrimp, a complete meal, just $1.95.
We go to Saudi Arabia, where on November 6th, a group of women protesters drove through the streets of Riyadh as an act of defiance to the government ban on women driving cars. Unfortunately, this act of civil disobedience cost them deeply. The women were arrested, removed from their jobs, and banned from traveling. Subsequently, the Interior Minister, Prince Naif bin Abdulaziz, officially banned women from operating motorized vehicles. This stayed law until 2017.
Yo, there's some of these laws that are going on, especially in some of these Middle Eastern countries, man. Like, it's different. They're just different over there. Women being banned to drive, that's... All I'm going to say is that's different. That's so different. Like, you just not get anything there like that in over here, man.
Operating motorized vehicles.
Over in the West.
This stayed
That's crazy.
law until 2017, when King Salman announced an order allowing women to drive. Driver's licenses for women were issued the following year. In mid-November, Bret Easton Ellis's book, American Psycho, was supposed to be published by Simon & Schuster, but was pulled over aesthetic differences after a public outcry that the book was deemed too violent. The book would eventually be picked up by Vintage Books and would go on to sell over 1 million copies. Nearly 10 years later, the movie American Psycho, starring Christian Bale, made its debut.
Hey, Paul!
Yeah, I've not seen that movie or the book. Home Alone, classic. Classic, man.
I don't care if I have to get out on your runway and hitchhike. I am going to get home to my son. Yes!
Coming back to literature, a sad passing, as acclaimed children's book author Roald Dahl died on November 23rd. Author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, BFG, and countless others, Dahl's books worldwide have sold over 250 million copies. And fun fact, Roald was also the screenwriter of the James Bond film You Only Live Twice.
You dirty bird. How could you?
Oh, she looks so young in this.
Misery Chastain cannot be dead.
Misery Spirit is still alive.
I don't want her spit!
That actor, I don't know her name. She looks so young in this. I haven't seen this movie though.
In the landmark case of Cruzan versus Director, Missouri Department of Health, Nancy Beth Cruzan, who was in a persistent vegetative state, was being kept alive by a life support system. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court allowed Nancy's parents the right to terminate the use of her feeding tubes that were administering her nutrition and hydration.
How did that even happen?
Just 3 days before Christmas, Lech Walesa took the oath of office as Poland's first popularly elected president. Previous to Walesa, Ryszard Kaczorowski had ended his term by living in exile in London. Walesa, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, would go on to serve as president from 1990 to 1995. Just after Christmas, the U.S. Census was released, and America was getting pretty big, with a grand total of 249.6 million people.
That's a lot of people.
And that is how 1990
America's huge,
ended.
man.
1999 was just days away, and America would see itself on the precipice of war. Racial tensions would boil over in the City of Angels, and we would find out what goes well with fava beans and a nice Chianti.
That one flew over my head.
Is for next year. Coming soon. 1991.
Let me know how it turns out, guys.
So what do you...
Crazy. So much happened in 1990 already. It started off crazy, ended off crazy. At least these are the most iconic events that happened. So I'm assuming, you know, there's probably a lot more that happened, but this is just like the big parts. As for what really stood out, like there's so much that happened. I didn't realize it was 90s. What else we got here? Like just like the whole Jewish and black people writing, that was mad. Tyson getting knocked, like losing, that's an upset. Like there's just so much that happened. Women, like a lot of these I was not familiar with. If you guys want me to dive a little bit deeper in some of these, then definitely let me know. I'm so curious to see the whale one ending up in, I forgot exactly where it ended up, but that whale ending up where it did is it's jokes. Like how is it ending up there? Yeah, some space stuff. Like this is, so I'm guessing this is probably right around where the Soviet, the whole Cold War stuff started to cool down a bit. The Sammy Davis Jr. one kind of took me by surprise a little bit. But yeah, other than that, I would all of this stuff, majority of this stuff I heard for the first time. Oh, this crew. Again, I keep forgetting their name. What's their name? 2 Live Crew, whatever you call them. Yeah, arrested. Like, talk about partying. They sounded so rebellious, man. Like they were just doing a lot. I've never I know in nowadays, like you get, like I said, Megan Thee Stallion. There's all sorts of like these music videos where they're just, I feel like you can't escape a music video nowadays without having some sort of like some hedonism involved in it, especially the mainstream ones. If you're into that mainstream pop culture like vibes right now, just some mad stuff you see nowadays. But yeah, like the fact that was going on in the 90s, crazy. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man, I need to check that out. I might dive into that on the Patreon, man, because that was a sitcom and a half. But yeah, the women not being able to drive, so much went on, man. This is crazy. Again, let me know how this one resonated with you guys. Let me know if there's any parts in here that maybe were missed out, or you think that I might have misunderstood, or I might have like known of. Like comment down below, maybe inform me a bit. How did some of these events personally impact you, especially? Like I would love to know. Yeah, crazy guys. Look, that's gonna end the reaction. Look, if we made this point, comment on 8 green hearts. I know who my ones. I made this point. Look, shout out to you guys that be watching free today, and you guys are the real to the real. You guys are the ones that do these videos for. Look, if you guys want to see me checking out some more of these iconic events and just some historical things of the past that I've only just recently discovered, then I'll leave a playlist at the end of the video you can check out. And of course, guys, look, like the video before you head on out. I've been the boy JayFlex. You guys have made this point. They've been absolutely wonderful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.